You're about to get served up a big old plate of blindside butter beans. I love the ocean.
I do not feel comfortable playing in today's competition.
You'll have a little bit more, Pooch. You think I'm playing a great game?
Yes, that's right. It is Wednesday, July 20th, 2022, and we just finished watching the 6th episode of Big Brother 24, the week 2 Power of Veto episode, where everything kind of stayed the same, Jeff. Pooch and Taylor remain on the block, and we're here to break down the whole episode. Michael won the veto. I'm Dave Mader, joined by my brother Jeff Mader, co-host Jamil Robinson, away at San Diego Comic-Con. Just called in from the floor a short time ago, dealing with a lot of in the Funko scene down there at the con.
That's right.
We're here streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitch, or you might be listening to us on the audio version. Comments here from the Sam Higdon saying Pooch and Joseph equals Dumb and Dumber.
But which one's Jim Carrey and which one's Jeff Daniels?
Jeff Daniels. Good question. I would assign the Jim Carrey role to Pooch.
Yes.
Now, it looks like Pooch is the target for this week, Jeff, but Taylor remains on the block for a second week in a row here. She's just hoping that she'll be spared the will of the house, but really has no agency in the game, seemingly. Has no alliances, has no kind of ins with anybody. We see here, conversely, on the other side of the block, we have Pooch, who thinks he's playing. He said he would go up to kind of try to backdoor Taylor. So, knowing you have to put up two people that aren't Taylor, he said, I could be one of them. Instead, she just puts him up with Taylor. He stays up here in this competition. And so Michael ends up winning this veto, Jeff. Yes. And he's like, I just can't let Pooch win this. But I don't want to actually take Taylor down. So I just keep things the same. Right.
He could have given Taylor another shot at the goal. Like Pooch had only had one in, and Pooch was terrible at this competition. Just, You
didn't think much of Pooch in this competition?
You're terrible. You're a football coach. All you deal with is like balls and like footballs and the way they bounce and the way they throw them and kick them and all those things.
He's great for Big Brother, Jeff.
You think I'm playing a great game?
Oh, yeah.
Great for this house. Great for Big Brother.
He's great. I can't believe he referenced Dr. Will today. I'm like, oh my God, you are nothing like Dr. Will. What are you talking about?
He's the second coming, Jeff, of Dr. Will. Is this not accurate? You're not going along with
it?
The
closest to the second coming of Dr. Will was Zach Rance.
Zach Rance was the closest thing, BB16?
That was the closest we've gotten to Dr. Will since Dr. Will.
Right. Well, we'll see how it goes here now. Jeff, what do you make? What did you make of the episode overall? Because a lot happened. Well, obviously, Jasmine HOH.
I thought Yasmin was on my TV screen the majority of the time, doing a really bad over caricature of her Southern accent persona. I don't know. Like I feel like this person is going to be a villain in the season. I think if she embraces it, she'll be a phenomenal character. But right now, it is tough. Do you find it tough watching her sometimes?
Yes, I think yes. I'm not sure exactly how to put my finger on it, but something bothers me.
There's just this like the player in the house, and then there's the player in the DR that exaggerates her voice to the point of caricatureness. And then she had, you know what I kept thinking tonight, Dave? What's the clock's name in the TV show Loki? Like Miss T, what's her name? Miss Time?
Like Miss something or other.
Ms. Time or whatever. She's the clock in Loki, right. And she speaks in this Southern accent, but it's all in this ominous, villainous, happy way. And I feel like she speaks the exact same way as that character from Loki. I just hear the same voice.
Okay, well, Jasmine may be this character from this TV show Loki. However, her HOH, she just seems to want to go on with this narrative. She wants to get out Pooch. Pooch is the target. she's trying to have a big. I think she wants a big move here. She wants to win this game. She's an entrepreneur. Watch out.
Yeah, she is smart. I give her that. But her persona, I think, is what's going to maybe be her demise, because right now everyone's just like accepting of it when she was doing it. She actually had to do it in front of the house. But in the DR, she's a lot more into the game, but also playing up this caricature that's not really, to me, who she really is. Like,
You
it's
mean the big old plate of blindside butter beans?
yeah, all
You're
the
about
puns.
to get served up a big old plate of blindside butter beans.
I feel like these are kind of fed lines, like I don't know if she's coming up with these, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like they're genuine. And
This is like her version of a radio commercial announcement, I think, or something like that. Like she's trying to do like a radio voice almost, but it's not quite working. Okay, and then so there's her HOH overall. Then tonight, Jeff, we have the veto winner, Michael. What did you make of his performance in this episode?
I don't know. I think he's like now. Isn't it funny how he's now in the same kind of big alliance with Daniel?
Yeah, weirdly.
Yeah, right. Like, it is interesting the way the house is shaking out right now, and it just kind of makes sense. They're all playing nice right now. It's I don't think real lines have been drawn yet.
No, but I feel like it seems like depending on who wins power, that often shapes which alliances end up working out and which ones don't, just by necessity. And so because Jasmine won the power right after Daniel, it's kind of, and they were not necessarily at odds before. This is kind of a continuation of Daniel's HOH in week 1, right? It's an early HOH. And so Michael here wins the veto, and he wants to keep things the same. But he, if he had his druthers, he would pull down Taylor. Taylor's no threat to his game. He'd like to work with Taylor long term, he says in the episode. And ultimately, he doesn't use the veto on Taylor, but he knows that Pooch is going anyway.
So that seems what's going on. Like, I think what happened was, and they made you really believe that he was going to play it on Taylor because everyone was on board to get Joseph up. But the thing is, I think at the end of the day, Yaz just didn't want to get more blood on her hand. She is a smart player. Like, I will give her that. But at the same time, she's really hard to root for because her caricature is like, it just has you rolling your eyes, the puns and the Southern metaphors.
Yeah.
They're all it's a lot.
Okay. Let's also talk about the Power of Veto competition itself, Jeff. I thought Yaz should have played. Yaz or somebody else should have been allowed to replace her if she knew up front she was going to,
I do not feel comfortable playing in today's competition.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I think this was the best competition for her to play in, Dave. She
doesn't even need to stand. Her feet, really.
Yeah, it was like literally the most ideal competition for her to compete in.
Yeah, like this seems like one with a hurt angle could do this.
I think she just did it because she's HOH. She's safe, and if she doesn't compete, then one, she doesn't have to get tired. Two, she doesn't really have to. If she's close to winning, have to either throw it. She doesn't have to make that decision. She's just taking herself out.
Is this a responsible move by Yaz? Jasmine?
I think it's a bit risky. That's how I would look at it. It's a bit risky because I think, the other contestants are going to see that. They're going to be like, okay, well, she's, basically a non-number.
But she's not the number one alliance material sort of thing because she's not willing to kind of go the extra distance. That's the way I kind of see it. Yeah,
and it might be strategic from her point of view to be like, I'm weak and keep me around so you can beat me, and that is a good strategy to have.
Right. All you had to do was basically wear this like flipper thing and then like move a ball.
They made it seem like it was so hard. I'm like, this is not that hard. And I don't know.
Yeah. Can we talk about somebody else? Indy. These Helians and calm.
She loves horses.
I love the. She loves the horses. She loves a lot of things. Here's.
I love the ocean. It can be healing and calm, but also can be unpredictable. It's kind of like me.
Yes.
Like the salsa music in the back. It's great.
Yeah. Are you liking Indy on the show?
No, she's great. Like, I think the casting's really good for what the show wants to be, but at the same time, sometimes, like, especially week 1 and week 2, it's hard to watch this show because none of them have really figured out how to navigate the DR, how to get good at it, you know, especially when it's a newbie season. Like, this is just what happens, you know, and it's always like cringe. You're watching the show, you're like, this is cringe right now. Like, and then it gets better, it gets more real, it gets more intense. But at the beginning, it's really it's not the best.
Right. And so we got Indy here to kind of maybe help narrate this and make things fun.
I love gold. Gold's my favorite color.
She loves horses.
I love horses. I love the ocean.
All kinds of things.
She loves all sorts of things. How many things do you think she says she loves by the end? Like, because I don't think she's going anywhere for a while. So
yeah.
The whole house knows that I'm a sex coach.
She is the best casting maybe they've done in years. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
They should get more people.
I wish she was in this competition, but she's not.
Like, I'm glad that they are going more diverse like these days because they get players that are like outside the box that they never would have put on TV before. And now, like,
Right.
Oh my God, we're getting like this Brazilian woman that's like hilarious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, some more personality, a little bit more character than kind of like the one note sort of Instagram star that
I'm Jake. I went to Southwestern University. You know, I'm a
just
lawyer.
like, you know
what I mean?
Kind of a little more typical American, you know, sort of stereotypes, right?
Yeah.
So I can hear the storm outside, the tornadoes. Jeff, a lot of this episode got cut off for me because there was
me too.
There was red screen warnings for us. There was there's tornadoes down here tonight here in Southern Ontario, and good part of this veto competition was cut off for me. I didn't see a lot. There was a lot of. I feel like I saw like maybe 75% of the episode overall. So, and I feel like you're probably.
I missed certain parts. Like I missed the part where like the actual end of the veto. I didn't get to see Michael win.
That I got to see that part. So it didn't necessarily red screen it for us on the same parts.
Weird,
because I did see it because Taylor nearly wins it, right? Outright.
Yeah, she got the first chance at it. Yeah,
but Michael doesn't also want to like it seem like he's throwing it at all because he would be happy if Taylor won it as well.
Why? He's in good with those people. I don't understand. Like,
yeah, but
I think he could have tried a little harder. To not try it, you know.
Is it good for Michael if you're thinking from Michael's? If you're Michael,
yeah,
and you're like, is Taylor winning the veto a good thing for me?
No, I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Yes, I thought you were going to ask, is it good for me to win this veto? And no, it doesn't really make any sense for him to win the veto other than to please Yasmin. And is that somebody you really need to please?
And he wants Pooch out. He would like to go this plan to get Pooch out to follow through. So he doesn't want Pooch to win it. So he was going for it just to make sure, because I don't know, Pooch was still a little bit behind in this competition when Michael wins it, and Taylor's right behind him. It seems based on what was shown in the edit.
But Dave, I think the question here is: should Michael have won that veto, and Taylor was probably going to win it, right? If Taylor wins it, she takes herself off the block and Joseph goes up, you know, almost automatically. There would be, you know, like, because they would have that same discussion of like who should have went up, and they would have been like, oh, that's perfect, do that, you know what I mean? And that's what I think would have happened, because his hand would have been forced. But in this instance, Michael's like in her alliance, and he's like basically doing a favor that she doesn't have to nominate a renom, you know, and. You know, but they're still going to work with Taylor, and Taylor's cool with it. That's why they're good to do this, you know, because like Taylor's not like, you know, throwing a hissy fit that she's on the block. She's already been through it, you know. And
Sam thinks Michael should have used it.
Well, I mean, he just would have pissed off Yaz, and then Yaz would have put up Joseph anyway. But Why did they want to take the shot at Joseph? To me, that was a fail. They should have. They should have taken him out.
The other thing you gotta remember is like there's always a chance if Taylor wins this and she pulls herself down, there could be a scenario where somehow Michael ends up on the block, right? He as the renom for some reason.
What do you mean? If he has the veto? If he didn't have the veto, you mean?
Yeah, Taylor has it.
Well, I guess you could say that, but that would. I thought him and Yaz were working together. You know what I mean?
Well,
were they only working together once he won the veto? Did it grant him Curry?
He's working more. Yaz has power, so he's probably made more promises to Yaz than he has to Taylor. You saw in the bathroom, like he's talking to Taylor. He's like, "I like you and everything, but like publicly, I don't know if I can commit to say I will definitely pull you down. I'm your ride or die." Nothing like that, but he's willing to kind of like hopefully bring her into the fold. He obviously wants Pooch out here anyway, and if you don't have to manage another nominee this week, all the better.
That's true.
Right. If she put up Joseph, that's then she's getting Michael to do something she wants to do. So then Michael could have done that, and then you put up Joseph next to Pooch. But the survivor of that might have a bit of a chip on their shoulder, right?
Well, that's why if you're going to take Joseph out, you do it this way, Did they not have the votes? Is that what happened? Because if they didn't have the votes, that would make sense. But if they did, they should have taken Joseph out because eliminating that guy from HOH comps that are in any way physical, you're going to lose. He's going to beat you.
Right.
Those guns aren't fueled by pie.
No, not fueled by pie. So what else in the episode stood out to you?
I just thought it was a lot of yazzing along. And there was a little bit of Daniel, there was a little bit of certain characters, really. It was very few. Taylor, Terrence was on the show a little bit, but like for the most part, it was very, like I said before, it's week 2. The production of the show is still like, here, read this line, and they do, and like, all right, we got that for this, you know what I mean? Like they don't have any organic chemistry with the cast yet,
No, not necessarily. I thought it was a little bit dull in some parts. I think like in particular, this veto competition was long. Watching them move little balls down with their nose. Like Daniel as the host was not fun.
No, welcome to Mermaid Fest.
I thought that was
a celebration of life under the ocean and your chance to swim into power by winning the golden power of veto.
I thought Turner should have done it.
Yeah, it was weird that him coming off the HOH that he gets to host this when someone like Turner. There's other cast members that she could have tapped here. Instead, but she goes for that.
But she gets to choose that. Like, isn't that, to me, like that should be kind of like a production thing? But like, but
it's usually the HOH's choice.
Here's how it works. First, you'll all be transformed into mermaids. Players must use only their head or crown to move their pearl down their lane and over the sand dunes. You may touch the pearl with your fins as long as it's not intentional. You may not touch the pearl with your hands. Once you reach the other end of your lane, you may use your hands to clear your shooting zone of water beads. But you may only use your head, face, or crown to take a shot.
It's a long explanation.
It was.
Like, the rule that clip goes on and on and on. And Daniel was not entertained through any of it. He's like, so-and-so has 2 now, or has 1. And you're just like, this is a little tedious.
He was doing the old wizard man character.
Right.
That's what he was doing.
Yeah. And so the Yaz was sitting out of it. So we only had 5 people in it. Ultimately, that all plays out, and then they kind of talk about potentially putting somebody up. But, Jeff, the other thing is they're talking about is that there's no eviction episode tomorrow.
Right.
Right. just being pushed to Sunday. We're gonna get a 2-hour episode on Sunday instead of 1 hour.
Okay.
What do you think of this?
Did something happen, or was it like what happened? Why?
I don't know. I figured CBS has some other show that they want to put on.
That, or something happened in the house and they had to be like, all right, we got to go live on that day.
Right. But they keep talking about this, the Festy Bestie, all the festivals, Jeff. Right. The announcer was saying, like, on Sunday, everything's going to change.
And the Festy Bestie twist will be unleashed, forcing the house guests to play the game in a whole new way.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I feel underwhelmed. I hope Jamil sees this and sees as well that Big Brother Australia is really like kind of turned me off the American game a little bit more than the Canadian game. Like I feel like the best way to go is to have that character of Big Brother talking to the house guests. I wish they would try it for a season on the American version. Because what we really get is like just the guy there. You just play the clip at the end, who kind of like narrates it a little bit at the end, and the beginning, like recaps it. You know what I mean? That's all we really get.
Right. Like we're getting like really weird kind of scenes of like
the whole contacts thing, Dave, with the eyes, and it was
this whole part of the episode. This was gross. This was hard to watch.
I don't understand why it had so much airtime. It was ridiculous. It was a long time, and I was just like, can we not? Just, that's how I felt,
Yeah, me too. I was over it. It goes on.
And the stupid sound effects didn't help.
Yeah, there's like buzzer sounds, like they're in a competition, but
and
they're
like
not.
Squish sounds when they're like.
And then there's like a bell sound when they get it, and then like victory music, Jeff. But
yes, they did the Big Brother theme.
Yeah, they act like it was some kind of competition to get the contacts in, but it was not. It was just them in the bathroom.
Yeah,
this was strange. I'm going on the record. This was a weird sequence. And to give it this particular musical accompaniment.
Yeah, the music and just the length of time they made me watch somebody poke their eye. No, I mean, this isn't. What are we doing?
Yeah. Like there was some like strategy scenes here, like when you had like Pooch talking to Joseph and to Monty in the exercise room.
I feel like the show is like, okay, it's gonna suck at the beginning because some players in here are dumb. And Pooch is one of those players. He is a dumb player.
Pooch.
I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest.
He's feeling pretty good. You watch out. We got a little more Pooch.
I'll have a little bit more Pooch.
A little more Pooch. You want in on a secret, Jeff?
I'll let you in on a little secret. You don't got to be too nervous. I think your boy Pooch is saying, another week, and you'll have a little bit more Pooch.
Yeah. I mean, is Pooch dead to rights? He's going home, right? Like that's what we're predicting.
Well, I guess there's a chance that something changes.
I don't think there is. Why get rid of Pooch? It kind of sucks.
I don't know. It's like I guess they want a female dominant season, and they're like, let's get all.
But he's the wrong guy to get out. Like he's kind of like he's a young guy, but he's like the old man in the house in a way, because like he's like he's not even an athlete. He's a football coach. You know what I mean?
Assistant football coach.
He's assistant. You know what I mean? Like I just don't think he's overly athletic. But they're going after him. Why? He is dumb, like nominating himself. But like, why wouldn't you be like, why get rid of this guy? Like they had the right idea to get rid of Joseph, Dave, and then they don't do it, and they should have. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I feel like you get Joseph here maybe is the better move, or even why not go out? Well, is Monty, because Monty's like sort of in alliances with Amira and other people. So even though there's this like girls alliance, there's a lot of like overlap here with like a couple other alliances that they mentioned in the episode tonight.
Yeah.
right? Like there
What
was
are those? What are their
Oasis?
names? Well, yeah, but what's the main one with like Daniel and Yaz and Alyssa? What's that main alliance called?
Well, I guess it was called Mamba at one point because when Paloma was in it. But then
But-
Paloma's no longer in it. And Pooch was in it at one point, but Pooch is out of it. So then it's like Alyssa, Monty, Amira, Kyle, and Michael.
And Nicole and is like seems to also be with them. You know what I mean?
Nicole, yeah, I'm not really sure where Nicole stands in the house. She's like been aligned with Daniel. And then like so you have Daniel, Pooch, and Turner, who are apparently are the Motley crew.
But is that really a thing? Like
I don't know. We got the Smurfs, we got Yasmin, Monty, and Kyle. They were named in the episode though. These are just alliances that Jamil's told me about.
Right. I mean, a lot of these alliances are just because like these people end up stuck in a room together. I'm like, well, you form alliances at the beginning of the game. I don't want to offend, and then they form an alliance, and sometimes I just feel like they're fake.
Well, they are. There, a lot of them, like some of them, I think people hope that they'll make it you basically make alliances with everybody, and then whoever wins, you make those alliances real, and then you follow that path, like because you always hope that you're trying to cover your odds in case like the people you're not as closely or intending as closely to work with, if they do win, you are similarly on the surface with them. Jeff, it's an emergency alert. They're taking extra care in Southern Ontario. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep. We got big hail, tornado coming. Watch out.
Yep. Watch out.
We got this whole scene here, Jeff, where it was like Pooch and Joseph talking about having the bromance, or he's the girlfriend he never asked for, or something like that.
I felt like I was watching Top Gun. Like it was.
Talk to me, Goose.
It was very. It was yeah. Like, was it not? Was it not?
Yeah, I guess so. Like this
bromance was a little like, what's going on here?
Maybe a little bit more than a bromance. It might be just a romance.
It felt very strange. Normally, when they do bromances on the show, it's like, oh, you like the same thing I like. Let's work out together. They do wacky things. But this was like cuddling.
This was the cuddling. And so I think it's fine. I think it's just a bit more romantic than what's the word? Plutonic.
Yeah, it's plutonic cuddling between two. What is it? Heterosexual males.
Go for it. I don't know. Watch out. I keep an eye on that. Anyway, so I don't know, Jeff. Like there wasn't a ton on this episode to really get it into because the competition dominated so much of it.
Yeah, and Yaz was on the show forever.
Yaz was on the show a lot.
She had like 10 DRs tonight. It was a lot. And it seemed to always be early in the morning when she's still wearing PJs, which I found interesting.
Yeah, she like I don't know if it seems like a lot of people in the house are just always laying around. I always kind of try to figure this one out.
Well, it's something to do. Like it's kind of like being in a prison when you really think about it.
To be in prison.
It's a little bit like that.
You can exercise.
You have a yard. You get your yard time. Like it's being a Big Brother is very much seems like prison. Like you eat this food because you're a have-not.
The slop.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected.
It's comfort.
There's haves and have-nots.
Yeah, but it's still kind of like a prison.
Right. Yes, we have a tornado coming, Sam. Newfoundland have a drought. Sam wants to know if we're watching the challenge.
No, I don't watch it.
I don't watch it either. But Jane's turned to watch it, and Foster always talks about it. So,
Foster loves it.
If we said, "Hey, Foster, want to do a challenge podcast?" He'd say yes, but we don't have time for that. We don't have to fit the Big Brother podcast.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So, okay. So ultimately, this veto is not used. It's we're heading into this vote. It will now, I guess, will it happen tomorrow, Jeff, or will it happen on Sunday? You think?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm guessing we're going to see it live on. Was it Sunday now?
Yeah, I'm really wondering because now, it's like, well, guess what? You're gonna be the by the time we get to Sunday, what day in the house will it be?
Oh,
Because last Thursday was day 8, so tomorrow would be day 16, and by Sunday it's probably what, day 20. So this will mean that they've gone almost 3 weeks, Jeff, without an eviction, or until the first eviction occurred, because Paloma
well, they
Silva,
actually evicted somebody. Yeah.
actually went and voted for people, all that kind of stuff, right? So like they're kind of rookies in that way, versus like some of the other seasons of Big Brother. Remember when they would like make you have to cut somebody in the first 10 minutes. That's how cutthroat we're gonna play this Big Brother.
I wish they would do an early double though. Like if they did a double this Sunday, that would be great. Like I think they should do early doubles because you get to really see where people will draw, and they won't see it coming. They always wait. They always wait till later to do the double, and it's like, just do it early.
Like I think that they do wait because they want it to be like a surprise, and they want the audience, I think, to forget that they happen, and they go, oh, okay, this is a nice little treat to get us through sort of the mid part of the game. Let's have a double eviction. Let's see how that plays out. They like to do it especially around the jury time, so, and just like so that there's more people kind of meeting up there. There's usually one pre.
Yeah, they save it for jury, and I don't like it. I think they should do them early. At least one of them.
Yeah, because 3 weeks until we get to the first eviction, which I'm guessing is going to be Pooch. I don't know really what's going to happen. Pooch is drafted by Daryl in the draft. Taylor, of course, drafted by Jamil, 3rd overall. Jeff, who do you feel like is like looking really good in the game? Who are the people we're not talking about enough? Like Turner?
I think, like people that aren't on the show is like, Turner and Indy. And
sometimes we get like Kyle on the show, but it's just him and his contact lenses, so it's not as fun.
Yeah, Kyle's another one, and then like Alyssa a little bit is in the game, but not, and then there's Monty. He's kind of the same. Brittany, these type of players are kind of on the fringes right now. The real main core seems to be like Nicole, Kyle, Daniel, Amira. Yaz, that seems like
it seems like Alyssa's a number for them as well.
Alyssa's in there, those are the main players. So that leaves out like Joe and Pooch here and Terrence and Brittany would probably be left out too, right? Like these are the players that are gonna get nominated.
Yeah. Sam's saying he thinks Alyssa's going to do well this season. Jeff, what do you think? What do you like? You like she's girls alliance.
I don't think she's going to do well because of girls. I think she actually is a pretty smart player, but we have to see her execute it. I think she has a lot of the right knowledge, but I'd like to see her, could do it because it's hard. Paloma would have been great for her, because she could have used her. Because like Paloma could have been like the crazy, like draw up controversy person.
Is that rude? Am I being rude?
Rooted.
And Alyssa could have done all the cleaning up and but it could have worked, I think. Right. But it didn't.
So I want to go to Newark. Isn't that the happiest place on earth?
Where?
Newark.
New Jersey?
Not the happiest place.
Brother.
Newark, New Jersey. That's where she's looking to go.
Ask anyone from Newark.
Yeah. Okay. And who else in this game is worth sort of like? Because I don't really understand where Indy fits in. Is she in the alliance or she's not?
She's kind of like just on the fringe. She's like, like
Terrence.
Well, Terrence doesn't seem to be like they're perfectly willing to have him on the block. Joe's another one. They have no problem on the block.
So what if all the people who are not like in the alliance got together? What if like Terrence and Indy, Joe, Pooch,
Brittany,
Taylor?
I feel like Brittany is also in that group.
Yeah, Brittany we haven't even talked about. Terrence we haven't talked about. I feel like there was just a lot of this cast that they're kind of invisible on the show right now.
Yeah. They don't know what to do with them.
And then we get like so much of Daniel explaining to us how this like mermaid game works.
Yaz is on the show 80% of the time.
And we don't want that.
No.
But is that just the way it goes with the HOH?
I think it's just the way that I think it's like the way the production looks at it is like who's seasoned, who's ready to do this, you know. And I think Yaz is, and that's why she's, Daniel sucks, man. In the DR, he's terrible.
Yeah, like the whole there's a lot of this cast, and they seem to be the ones in power right now that are doing well, that I'm just not enjoying that much. Yaz and Daniel's HOH is back to back so far haven't gotten me too excited.
No,
it's kind of
terrible.
Like the Empire is ruling things to start the season.
Yeah, like Nicole would be better,
Nicole would be better. Okay, and then I don't know if there's anything in terms of spoilers.
No, because we don't know yet.
One day ago. So yeah, it says basically, there's nothing much in terms of spoilers to even go for. I think Pooch, there's no chance for Pooch. Screw the Pooch, Jeff.
Mm-hmm. It seems like the spoilers say to me that Pooch is gone.
Yeah, spoilers, everybody. Sorry. Yeah.
It's too late. It's
too late. We already said Pooch is still going, so
I think Pooch is going.
But if they do this eviction on Sunday, I will be curious to see how, like, just being in there for 3 weeks, and then we finally get our first true post-game interview with somebody, because Paloma was just gone.
Yeah.
Before Julie gets to say, what the hell happened in there? We'll get goodbye messages. And then we are going to get the new HOH competition. Plus, we're going to see how this, like, bestie festy thing is going to play out.
It's very exciting.
It's very exciting. I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest.
I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah. So I think that there's not much else to say, guys. We've broken this down. Michael, sure, he wins the veto. This week's kind of playing out sort of by numbers, and assuming Pooch goes on Sunday, I'm curious really to see who wins power next and what they do with it, especially if it's not in that bigger alliance that seemingly has been sort of running things. Like, I would love to see, I don't know, like even Taylor win the HOH. I think that would be like really interesting to see what she would do with it. Okay, guys. So we won't be here tomorrow night. We will be back Sunday. Also, you should check out our next edition, guys, at Trivial Debates coming up this Sunday. Jeff, there was a change. A roster change on the Trivial Debates roster. Did you notice?
Right. Doesn't matter. My answers
Max
are
Duda,
false.
a pious man that he is, cannot be torn away from church. So he is, which is not. It's more like he's still with the cottage. He's been replaced in the panel for Sunday's Trivial Debates by Davin Scalmore.
I'm in tough now. Max was an automatic. I was already guaranteed the final round.
You were on Easy Street. Now you're on Front Street with Davin, and Davin's going to make you fight for it. Him and Chris, I think, are going to argue a lot. I don't know. I don't like your chances on this one, Jeff.
No, this is my toughest competition yet.
This might be, and Jody's a tough host to impress as well. So, if anyone can do, you can do it, Jeff. So, good luck Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. July 24th, as well as check out our Live Long and Podcast channel, where we talk about Star Trek all the time, like Star Trek Enterprise every Monday night. Oh, wait, that's the other. I always forget that that's the other soundboard. And it's every Monday night. We talk about the new episode of Star Trek Enterprise. You should also check out every Tuesday night. Or sometimes Wednesdays, we talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine at 9, Jeff, including stuff with like Ferengis.
I almost had a stroke.
Yeah, check that out every Tuesday night. We talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine, going through episode by episode. Just talked about Ferengi love songs not too long ago. The next episode, Jeff, I think is called it's Soldiers of the Empire. It's the Klingon episode. If you like Klingons, check that out. Also, a lot of our coverage over there on Live Long and Podcast, including Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Star Trek Prodigy, Star Trek Discovery, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Lower Decks, all the new shows. If there's a new Star Trek show or movie, we've talked about it. And a lot of the old ones too, including like original series, movies, all in the back catalog of our reviews. The only shows we haven't never really truly reviewed yet our Next Generation and Voyager, but we'll get to them one day. Thanks for checking those things out over there. You should also check out our friends' podcast, like Davin Skellhorn's got Luke Cuters of Trek, his Star Trek theme channel, as well as he's got the X-Men, the animated series X-Rated review show. Jeff, did you know that he interviewed Lenore Zahn last night?
Yes.
Our cousin Davin Skellhorn over there on X-Rated.
He did a great job.
It was great. I watched the interview. I loved it.
Well, that's great.
She was a member of Parliament, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
She was the voice of Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
She's from Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of good things to say.
A lot of great things.
Our cousin Davin interviewed her on his podcast last night. So if you want to listen to that, check that out. Lenore Zahn. And she's going to be the voice in the new X-Men 97 spin-off series, Jeff, that they're going to do. They're doing a continuation of the original X-Men cartoon.
Bringing her back.
They're bringing her back, as well as a lot of the other voice actors from X-Men 97.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, check out Davin stuff. Check out Let's Talk About Fighting Games with Sam Jerka or Eamon Mater, where we get your audio podcasts, and the Hellbound podcast with Michael Chan and Alex Blackburn. Anyway, that's it, guys. I think we'll see you next time here on Super Mario Brothers Podcasting, which will be Sunday. All right. Until then, but I think I would like to get the indie speech. Okay, we'll see you next time.
I love the ocean. It can be healing and calm, but also can be unpredictable. It's kind of like me.
Love the ocean.